Meet Britney. When I open up her Instagram and click on an account that's been recommended in her feed, I'm greeted by a meme falsely declaring that President Joe Biden never really won the 2020 election, and several others targeting named female politicians with misogynistic comments and abusive language. Britney is one of 5 profiles I've created to track what US voters can be recommended and exposed to online ahead of the midterm elections. These characters were created to reflect a range of views across the US political spectrum, and they're based on data from the Pew Research Center. They have social media profiles across the 5 main sites. And while they can't offer an exhaustive view into what US voters are seeing on social media, they can give us a snapshot into what they're being recommended, targeted with, and exposed to online. As I've checked into each of their accounts over the past 2 months, it's Populist right Britney's account that has been most frequently exposed to violent and misleading content. To set up her account, I followed pages opposing billionaires and abortion, and liked lots of content that was very supportive of former President Donald Trump. Now, on Instagram, she's been recommended more and more accounts that made false claims about fraudulent voting and denied that President Biden won the election, using hashtags like Trump won and promoting conspiracy theories about the recent attack on Nancy Pelosi's husband. They also feature posts talking about female politicians like Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris in abusive and misogynistic terms. Progressive left Emma, who likes accounts about the Black Lives Matter movement, the environment and women's rights, was recommended pages that promoted naming and shaming racists and Trump supporters, but the rhetoric has not escalated in the same way that it has for Britney's accounts. Stressed sideliner Gabriella, who liked lots of groups and pages about her local community and hobbies, not politics, has been increasingly recommended right-leaning content on social media, often about inflation. Faith and Flag Larry, who is pro-guns and a committed Republican, and Democratic mainstay Michael, a teacher passionate about the unions, were targeted more frequently by official campaign adverts and content from the political parties themselves, especially on sites like YouTube. For Larry, on crime, inflation and immigration. For Michael, the adverts and posts talked about abortion, climate change and education.
The increase in disinformation and hate I've seen on my undercover voters' social media feeds fits into a wider pattern. The Institute for Strategic Dialogue, which tracks disinformation online, says that election conspiracy theories and abuse targeting politicians has intensified in the weeks leading up to the midterms.
Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, told the BBC that it has robust measures in place to combat misinformation, including partnerships with 10 fact-checking organisations in the US. It also said it has clear policies about what is and isn't allowed on its platforms, and that it continually reviews content to see if it violates policies. And now there are concerns that layoffs and potential changes to moderation policies on Twitter, which Elon Musk now owns, could also lead to an increase in online disinformation on polling day. Twitter insists that while they have lost colleagues, their core moderation capabilities remain in place. While these undercover voters might not be real, the kind of disinformation and hate some have been exposed to online can have a real-world impact on how people vote, action offline, and democracy. As votes are counted and the results are declared, it remains to be seen if the social media sites have passed this test.